Nosta. Hello. Simai. Chapter 28 of The Outlaw Varjak Paw by S.F. Said. Illustrated by David McKeen. It is getting so exciting now. Oh, man. Oh, and I think we've just lost one of Varjak's gang. Okay, here we go. Pernisha, said Eliza Scratch. Where's Pernisha? I think the train got her, said Militia. Varjak watched the two remaining Scratch sisters search in vain for Pernisha. He could see grief rising in their eyes. The air was freezing cold. It felt like a storm was coming. Omar and Ozzy looked at each other, tails curling round their legs. It's our fault, whispered Omar. If we hadn't said what we said, she wouldn't have done it. She went down fighting, rasped Eliza, as a Scratch sister should. But Sally Bones' gang will pay for this. We are going to make them pay. Right, Militia? Right. Varjak could see their grief turning to fury. They flicked out their claws and ghosted forwards. They headed towards the steps at the end of the platform. Down on the embankment, prowling about, Varjak could see more cats. Sally Bones' cats. He looked up. All along the riverside, those vast towers of steel and glass were glowing out into the night. But like a jagged claw of darkness, that single, solitary stone tower was still far away in the distance. Sally Bones' place, calling to him. Wait, Eliza, he said. There are patrols down there. Yes, she replied, and they will pay for what happened to Pernisha. Varjak shook his head. What good will it do? If we keep fighting patrols, we'll never get to Sally Bones. And what Pernisha did won't mean a thing. Fighting won't get us there. We need something better. I've got an idea, Razor piped up. We're not interested, snapped Eliza. Come on, Militia, let's get down there and wipe them out. We're coming too, said Omar. We'll fight beside you to avenge her. Wait, said Varjak. We're not going anywhere till we've heard Razor's idea. Go on, Razor, tell us. Razor stood a little straighter at his words. The boss is right, he croaked. You'll never beat them all. There's too many. But we can fool them. Sally Bones wants Varjak captured, right? She kicked me out of her gang, but I can say I want to get back in. I'll say I put together a posse with the Scratch sisters and together we've beaten Varjak and we're taking him to Sally Bones for punishment. Varjak's eyes widened. It was simple, but it was good. I think it's really clever, said Ozzy. Razor's face lit up with pride. You leave the talking to me, he croaked. They'll take us straight to the graveyard. Ozzy thinks it's clever, muttered Eliza. Wonderful. That's just wonderful. It's this or nothing, said Varjak, cutting her off. I'm not doing it any other way. Eliza's eyes narrowed. Slowly she put away her claws. All right, Paw. If you think it's good enough, we'll try it. But the minute it goes wrong, you won't be able to hold us back. The air felt tight with pressure. A storm was definitely coming. Varjak could feel it in his whiskers. Okay, he said. Now, Jess, they know you're my friend, so you'll be a prisoner too. And Omar? Omar's tail flicked up. Yes, Varjak? We're in charge of the posse, right? No, Omar. They know you're on my side. You and Ozzy have to be prisoners, like us. Prisoners? Said Omar. Eliza laughed at him. Get in line, scum. But no one could beat the horrible twins, protested Omar. We're the strongest. Lightning crackled above the city. Omar, said Big Ozzy, we're doing Razor's plan, and that's that. There was a silence. Then thunder rumbled overhead. Well, grumbled Omar. Okay, but I wouldn't do this for anyone else. Thanks, said Razor, grinning. Now come on, everyone's got to do it right if this is going to work. Varjak could see a bit of Razor's old confidence coming back. He still looked naked without his ears and tail, but he looked proud as he marched ahead of them all down the embankment. Varjak, Jess and the twins walked together in a huddle, pretending to look miserable and defeated. Razor swaggered ahead of them, Eliza and Militia behind. They were met by a patrol from Sally Bones' gang guarding their turf with cold malevolence. It was led by Luger himself. "Go on, Razor," whispered Varjak. "Make it good." He held his breath as the tiger-striped tomcat strutted forwards. A spike of white lightning lit the roadside. "Razor," snapped Luger, "you dare show your face here?" He scowled at over Razor's shoulder and saw Varjak and the twins. "What the—" "Relax, Luger," said Razor. "They're my prisoners. I captured these outlaws and I'm taking them to the boss for punishment." Luger's eyes narrowed with suspicion. The other cats in the patrol shifted about, not knowing what to think. "I don't like this," said Luger. "What are those Scratch Sisters doing here? Why have you brought them onto our territory?" "I needed them as part of my posse to beat Varjak Paw," said Razor. He winked at Luger. "And I'm taking them to the boss to get their just rewards." A cold smile flickered over Luger's face. "I see," he said. "Maybe you're not so bad after all." Varjak felt an intense rush of relief. Razor was good. He was brilliant. They were going to get away with it. "But something doesn't make sense here," said Luger, scratching his head. "What's wrong with you, Varjak Paw? Why aren't you fighting? Aren't you the cat who fights like Sally Bones?" Varjak's heart lurched. His mind raced, and then he knew what to do. Tell the truth. I've lost my power," he said. "I'm weak as a kitten now." "Don't get funny with me," said Luger harshly. "You're the cause of all this trouble. This city was peaceful before you showed up." "No, it wasn't," said Varjak. "Your gangs. You were—" "Enough," snapped Luger. "You're nothing but an outlaw. You and that Holly you used to hang around with, well, she got what she deserved, and so will you." He spat in Varjak's face. Varjak didn't respond. He had to stay calm, stay focused. "You think you're such a hero, don't you?" Luger continued. "You and that pathetic little Holly, breaking the law, ruining this city for everyone else. Come on then, if you're such a hero, hit me." He exposed his jaw, held it out. "Come on!" Varjak shook his head. He was tempted for Holly's sake, but it was better to do nothing. Much, much better. Don't rise to it. Don't let it get to you. The pressure mounted in the air. Thunder crackled in the sky. "Scared, are you?" jeered Luger. "You should be, because you're going to die horribly when the boss sees you. I just wish I could kill you first, you stinking no-good—" He slapped Varjak flush across the face. Varjak didn't flinch, though every muscle in his body was tense. Luger slapped him again. Varjak's face stung. Every instinct screamed at him to fight back. "But we're supposed to be beaten," he told himself. "I mustn't do anything or it'll ruin the plan." Luger licked his lips. Looks like you really have lost it. So now we can't do anything we like to you and you can't fight back." He took careful aim and kicked Varjak in the stomach, hard. Varjak doubled up in pain. He sank to the ground. Luger kicked him in the guts again and Varjak didn't move. He took the kicking. "Got to stick to the plan," he thought desperately. "Trust myself. That's the 7th skill, isn't it?" "Good," said Luger after one more kick. He sounded satisfied. "Now I'm going to take you to the boss and she's going to punish you properly. I'm looking forward to this." Omar and Ozzy helped Varjak back up. His stomach was thudding with pain. He felt like he was going to be sick, but deep inside, he was smiling because he knew that they'd done it. They'd fooled Luger. Razor's plan had worked. Luger led them through the streets towards the graveyard. This part of Sally Bones' territory was different to any part of the city Varjak had ever been in before. Many of the buildings were enclosed behind high gates and fences. The windows and doors were shut, as if the people were trying to keep something out. The street lamps cast a harsh white glare. Varjak felt nervous and exposed in their light. Luger led them on, past tall towers, through abandoned car parks sprayed with graffiti, littered with broken glass and swirling heaps of dust and debris. Finally, they came to a pair of wrought iron gates set apart on a mound from the buildings all around. "This is it," whispered Omar. "The graveyard." Ozzy shifted. "I don't want to go in." "Oh, wish I'd run away with Tam," said Jess, fear flickering in her eyes. But there was no running away from this place. They went through the gates into the graveyard. It was full of old tombstones, shrouded in snow and ice. Nothing grew here, only dead trees. Their bark turned white, their leaves long gone. A white flash lit up the sky. It was strange to see it. The night sky, all white. No moon, no stars, just white. Against it, the criss-crossing branches of the trees looked like cracks, hairline fractures in the sky. Luga led them through the tombstones. The ground was frozen beneath Varjak's paws. It smelled dank and deadly and somehow wrong. His spine tingled as they stepped over the graves. Thunder cracked above their heads like explosions in the sky. At the end of the graveyard, the mound sloped up towards a higher stone tower. It was so much bigger close up than Varjak expected. It was like a mountain, a massive jagged claw of darkness cutting into the night. This was it, at last, Sally Bones's place. At the foot of the tower prowled her gang, dozens of cats. Their eyes glittered in the night. Varjak could smell their sharp, strong odour in the wind. At the top of the tower there was a wide arch window with a narrow ledge. A great bell hung inside. "So," said a familiar voice, "we meet again, Varjak Paw." Dun, dun, dun! And that's the end of chapter 28. And you'll have to wait till tomorrow for chapter 29. My goodness. Take care. See you tomorrow night. Keep the way alive.